Now, is Harry Maguire the worst player to ever play for United? I know that sounds harsh, but that's literally what United fans are saying.
I think it's extremely harsh. I think I understand the viewpoint. It's not gone quite as they wanted.
100%.
And in this video, we're going to go into the transfer saga that's now coming up around Harry Maguire. But I just think for United fans to come out saying that is quite tough on him.
Very tough.
But equally, you're an £80 million centre-back that hasn't performed. So you could argue that they're looking at it from that point of view. As an investment, he wasn't great.
No.
He wasn't.
But okay, he bought him for 30. Would you be happy with him?
If what, sorry?
He bought him for 30. Would you be happy with him?
I think, yeah, if I think he's arguably a bit of a steal at 30. I think because of the whole English...
Okay, you buy him for 30 and how he performs, would you be happy with him?
No, because he's not performed well. That's the issue.
So you're saying money's not the object then?
Money isn't the object, but if you're buying an £80 million player, it sort of becomes an object.
No, I 100% agree.
But saying that, I think at 30 million for West Ham is a bit of a steal.
So what is the latest? Within this video, we're going to look at Maguire, Neymar, and Liverpool news as well, which is very, very interesting.
Yes.
And then Chelsea FFP.
Yeah. So Maguire, let's start with that because it is, like I said, turning to a saga. There's been no move yet, and this is all now being held up.
On the bench the weekend.
On the bench of the weekend, but didn't come on. Lindelof comes on ahead of him. Okay.
And arguably, he is better in the position that Lindelof.
But is he? That's the issue.
No, on paper, originally, he would have been ahead of him.
He's an £80 million player that's coming in and should be starting. I agree. Now, what is holding this up is Harry Maguire being paid what he feels he should be paid by
you
United.
sign a contract on that, I ain't going anywhere. Now, people would maybe argue and say, well, you're a professional footballer, you should seek to be the best player you could be.
Yeah.
And, okay, so you're going to do the same job, play more, and get paid less. Nah, you wouldn't do it. And don't say you would, because you categorically wouldn't.
But with the Euros next summer, if he wants to be in that team, he has to...
He's in it anyway, mate. Southgate just picks the lad.
He shouldn't be, though. This is the thing. This is the issue. There's guys coming through that are challenging him, are going to be challenging him, and he needs to be playing football, in my opinion, and he isn't going to get that at United. He's not. Right. Let's talk money.
Neymar. By the way, before we talk about Neymar, did you see that little Rolex as your man of the match gift?
Fabinho.
Poor. And he dropped the bloody thing as
I know
well.
he did. I saw that. So if you've not seen that, Fabinho, by what seemed to be a fan, was given a Rolex for his performance in a game, which is baffling. But that is Saudi Arabia football by the sounds of it. And Neymar, 31-year-old Neymar, has gone to Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia. PSG got 100 million euros for him, so they've basically got around half of what they spent on him back, which I think he's been there a couple of years. Okay, they've not won the Champions League, they've won the French League quite a lot, but arguably you probably can't complain with that. They're probably quite happy to have roughly half back, but that's not where we're talking money.
These
here.
details are just crazy, mate.
So he's got a 2-year contract.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's been reported all different crazy figures, but
I don't think we'll ever actually know the true figures on this. It's all going to be smoke and mirrors.
But what I've seen is it's going to be around £2.5 million a week. So it's roughly around 130 million a year. He's got a private jet for whenever he wants it, a mansion with staff, €80,000 bonus, so around £50,000 bonus for every win that Al Hilal have, and €500,000 for every story he posts promoting Saudi. There's also talk of cars. There's talk of all sorts.
How are they making money at this, by the way?
They don't need to. They're just trying to disrupt. They're trying to, in my opinion, become a bit of a powerhouse within football. The Al Nassr have had a bid accepted today for Laporte from Man City. So 28-year-old Spanish international looks like he'll be heading out there as well, and he's going to be on big money. Now, you could argue that how they're going to grow because people don't follow players, but all of a sudden you've got all these players, big name players, people are going to start paying attention to it. So we said it last week or a few weeks ago, watch this space, there will be more players to go. Mm-hmm. I've even seen that Salah and Alisson have even been mentioned.
Liverpool would be fuming.
Well, that leads us on nicely.
Getting the big custard pie.
Yeah, well, this leads on nicely because Liverpool sing "You Never Walk Alone," and they'd be right because Caicedo and Lavia both walked the other way to Chelsea.
Mate, you were getting no fans of this channel who are Liverpool fans with that.
But it's true.
Yeah.
Like, there's something going on at Liverpool. There's something wrong because
what are people thinking there? Because if you go back 2-3 years ago, if someone said you go to Liverpool, you sign me up.
Put it this way as well. Chelsea have no European football.
No.
Okay, Liverpool are playing Europa League this year.
Still European football.
Still European football. They are doing this. They need a serious rebuild. They've lost Henderson. They've lost Fabinho. Caicedo and Lavia are two players that arguably would have filled at least one of their shoes. Now, here's the issue, and here's what I think the crux of this. Both players have been touted of going to Chelsea this year, and what Chelsea are doing is offering players 6, 7, 8-year contracts.
So it's more money over a longer period.
Yeah. So what I think is happening, and I don't know, I'm not on the inner circles of this, but from the outside looking in, these longer contracts are not only helping Chelsea to get players, but are also helping them with their FFP, and we will go into that a little bit more in a second. But what I think for Liverpool is, do they have the pull? I don't know. Why would these guys not want to go and play under Jurgen Klopp? What are Chelsea, other than the contract, Chelsea don't offer them anything more. It's really strange, and didn't think we'd be having this conversation. Obviously, Liverpool drew this weekend, 1-1. They had the issue with Mo Salah going off, not looking happy. Is there a bit of disruption in that camp? Something over the next 2.5 weeks roughly, there's going to be someone's got to come in. Yeah. Otherwise, they're going to be very, very, very light on the ground. Very light on the ground.
So how are Chelsea getting around this then? Because they spent a lot of money, a lot of contracts.
Well, I am no money man. Simon Jordan said it this week, and he did quite an amazing piece on it actually about explaining how they're doing it. So what they're basically doing, in layman's terms, in my understanding is, so they're signing Caicedo for 115 million. But what they do is, that 150 million is spread over the term of that contract. So that 150 million he's then going to cost them, including wages, 75 million per year. Now, by spreading that, yes, okay, they're tying players in for 8 years. So they're guaranteeing money going out, but also they're able to spread that cost more. So the balance sheet looks better because it's spread. It's
per year as well. FFP
exactly.
Is per year.
So the way they're doing it is smart. It may come back to bite them on the backside. One thing that I've noted down here, and it does sort of scream of a little bit to me, is are they expecting a ban? They've made a lot of signings for a lot of money. Like there's figures in the last 3 windows being banded around of near £1 billion that they've spent. They've dobbed themselves in. They've handed themselves in on FFP grounds prior to the new owners coming in. So in the Abramovich era. Now, are they thinking smart? Is Todd Bowley thinking smart in the sense of, I potentially got a ban coming here. I need to get players in now.
So they're planning for 5 or 6 years.
To not spend in a year's time when we get a ban for 2 windows.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out going forward. They've got Caicedo and Lavia still to be sort of confirmed, but looks like it's going to happen. They look dangerous this year. They look really good this weekend against Liverpool. Great. A very strong Liverpool side, by the way. Well, strong in the sense of Salah, Gakpo, Nunes came off the bench, Jota. Okay, they're not that deep in midfield, but they look good. And for Chelsea, who were a bit of an unknown entity, to
last
come into
year
it,
were all not at the races at all.
Raheem Sterling looks a different player. Nicholas Jackson that they've got up front is a young lad who looks very very impressive. Enzo Fernandez is playing a bit further up the pitch, and Caicedo is going to allow him to do that more by sitting in that spot, and he looks good. Like, they've got some really, really good players, really good young players coming through, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they do this year. And they've even apparently activated Michael Olise's £30 million release clause from Crystal Palace, so he's a winger. So they're adding more players to it, and look, they trimmed down. They've made 200 million on the likes of Havertz go in. They've made some money on selling those players. So it's going to be interesting to see who else they bring in this window. There's still a lot of business to be done. Man City are going to do some business, I'm sure, with the KDB injury. It's exciting leading up to the end of the transfer window, and Saudi are going to play a big role.
You heard it here first. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn the bell so you never miss a breaking news video here on Football Fans News.